MS Now has confirmed that a former staffer is accusing California gubernatorial candidate and Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of sexual assault. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, the woman alleges Swalwell sexually assaulted her twice when she was too intoxicated to consent. The Chronicle corroborated those allegations by speaking to family and friends who say they heard about the alleged incidents contemporaneously. And separate reporting from CNN says 3 additional women allege sexual misconduct by the congressman, including Swalwell sending them unsolicited explicit messages or nude photos. MS Now has not independently confirmed those allegations. Congressman Swalwell has denied any wrongdoing. MS Now congressional reporter Michael Schnell joins us now with the latest. Michael, thank you for getting up this morning. I know
morning, guys.
You were on the phone talking to at least one of the accusers. Yeah. What can you tell us about where things stand at this point? What you learned?
Before we start the conversation, just to note, I did speak to one of the former staffers of Eric Swalwell, who confirmed to me that she did make allegations to the San Francisco Chronicle and to CNN of 2 instances of sexual assault by the congressman. I want to note, MS Now has not independently confirmed those allegations. We have not corroborated those allegations. We're also not naming the name of the woman here at the center of the story, given that we don't name victims or alleged victims of sexual assault. It is worth noting as well that the San Francisco Chronicle and CNN did, as you mentioned, speak to family members, friends, acquaintances, look at these text messages and such. But the story here, as you mentioned, is yes, spoke to her and she did confirm that she did make those allegations. And this, of course, comes as Eric Swalwell, is a longtime congressman up on Capitol Hill, is running in that key gubernatorial race in California right now. The fallout has been swift and has been damning for Eric Swalwell. In the hours after these allegations first came out, he has lost a number of his key supporters and endorsements, members up on Capitol Hill, key folks in California. House Democratic leadership yesterday, Hakeem Jeffries, Catherine Clark, and Pete Aguilar coming out and saying they believe that Eric Swalwell should drop out of the race and that there should be an investigation into these allegations. I will note, when I was speaking to the woman last night, I asked, why now? Why you decided to come forward with your story now? I'll read you a little bit of what she told me. She said, quote, "I finally felt like I had the support to help me come forward, which was a huge deciding factor that I did not have when this happened in 2019 or in 2024. Again, those are the 2 years that she alleges is sexual assault. But a big story unfolding this weekend that'll have big time implications and ramifications, both in California, but here in Washington, D.C.
First of all, thank you so much for your reporting. You've had a busy and heavy week, and this is very sensitive reporting and challenging to do. So we appreciate it. Can we share a little bit about how Eric Swalwell has responded to this so far? He is flat out denying the allegations, despite multiple accounts that all seem fairly similar to one another. Let's give his response a listen.
These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the front-runner candidate for governor in California. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. For over 20 years, I have served the public. As a city councilman, as a member of Congress, and as a prosecutor who went to court on behalf of victims, particularly on behalf of sexual assault victims. That's who I am and have always been.
Have you heard anything from the congressman, Michael? And do you think that this denial is going to prevent him from ultimately dropping out of the case and out of the race and honestly resigning from Congress at this point?
I have not personally heard from him. I will note there was a statement in both the San Francisco Chronicle story and the CNN story denying the allegations. And then late last night, he came out with that video line that stood out to me, flat false. So completely denying these allegations. I think that the key question here, there are 2 key questions. It's A, what does Eric Swalwell ultimately do? And B, what is he called on to do? What pressure does he face? So what I mean by that is we're hearing from scores of Democrats and Republicans who say he needs to drop out of the race. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, someone who is incredibly close to him, put out a statement and said, I spoke to him and I told him that this is something that needs to be dealt with and it needs to be dealt with outside of the race.
Well, let me read that the statement. This extremely sensitive matter must be appropriately investigated with full transparency and accountability. as I discussed with Congressman Swalwell, it is clear that that is best done outside of a gubernatorial campaign. As we have all covered Speaker Emerita Pelosi, what jumped out at me is, as I discussed with Congressman Swalwell, this is best done outside of a gubernatorial campaign. To me, that is her publicly saying to Congressman Swalwell, I'm putting you on blast. I'm letting everybody know I talked to you, and you better get out of the race. So to your point, the pressure that is coming to bear on Congressman Swalwell, if there was one person who could knock him out of the race, it's her.
Right. And the question that I have, though, is they're basically unanimous calls for him to exit the race. And to your point, Jonathan, there's no greater, more central figure in California politics than Nancy Pelosi. Right. And her words carry meaning. The question is, will we start hearing calls from him to resign from Congress?
What have you heard from members of Congress?
I haven't heard that. We've heard from Democrats, again, scores of his closest allies who say he needs to drop out of the race, including Democratic leadership. Notably, they haven't called on him to resign. That statement last night from the top 3 members of Democratic leadership said we need an investigation. We need him to leave the race. It doesn't say resign. Right now, there are at least 3 Democrats who have called on him to resign outside of Capitol Hill. Tom Steyer and Katie Porter, two of his fiercest opponents in the race, and L.A. Mayor Karen Bass. So I think it's a question of, will we start hearing now from Democrats as this continues to unfold that he needs to leave Congress? And the pressure is going to mount on Capitol Hill. Jonathan, we were talking about this last night. The House returns to session on Tuesday after this 2-week recess. Lauren Boebert says she's going to introduce a resolution to censure Eric Swalwell. Anna Paulina Luna says she's bringing a motion to expel him. Now, will those have the votes? I don't know at this moment. But if that is forced on the floor and there has to be a vote on it, it's going to put Eric Swalwell's colleagues on the record. They're going to have to make a tough decision when they have to cast a vote.
Or not tough decision.
Or not a tough decision.
To me, having been through many a scandal like this has the feel of a 1-2. Call on you to get out of the race, give you some time, and then calls to leave entirely. But these allegations are very, very serious. So
and if there's one more thing I can note, as we talk about whether or not she should resign, one more thing I want to read that the woman told me last night. I really felt a responsibility to protect younger staffers because no one protected me, and I really didn't want to go on knowing this information, wondering if another person could be hurt by him. So that building back there, very collegial, especially when it comes to these young staffers. Clearly that was on the mind of this young woman.